Good morning, and thank you for joining Coffee and Convo live with Ari and Chosen. I'm RE.
Morning.
We got Chosen, special guest FD Sparkman.
Morning.
Morning. All right. Today's episode is how the world screwed up the view of marriage, and we're gonna let FD start that one out. But first, we're gonna have a recap of last week's episode when you don't think anyone is listening. Chosen. Can you give us that
Yo,
recap?
hey, good morning. Yeah, we sure can give you this recap. So last week we talked about when you don't think anyone is listening. Um, sometimes you get to the work, you can go into the workplace, or you can have a conversation, or it could actually be anywhere that you go to. You might be dropping some gems, you might be throwing some shade, and maybe you wonder later on, okay, where am I getting all this attention from? Uh, it's that's pretty much where it's at, because you got to watch your surroundings, who you're around, and at all times be mindful of who might be listening, because you can catch them repercussions to them
Yeah.
actions, to them words, or you never know, you might inspire somebody. So
Yeah.
it's always best to be you always want to be in your equipped level, your power, your most powerful frame of mind when you're speaking, because what you dish out is gonna come back to you. So that's pretty much what we was talking about. If you did, however, miss last week, you can go to the page, which I will find the link to the YouTube page, and you can watch all of the episodes prior to this one. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty
All
much
right. So
pretty
this
much it.
week, how the world screwed up the view of marriage. Now, most people don't understand that marriage is a true covenant. It's a contract between two people. It's something that most people, I would say, they walk into lightly. They don't take in the full concept of what marriage is. I think that most people look at the wedding, the gifts, the vacation, the honeymoon. Not looking at the true struggles that's going to come with marriage. Yeah,
So
we
in
get
other
along.
words,
In other words, what?
so in other words, you just want to lick the icing. You don't want to eat the whole cake.
They don't want to eat the whole cake. They're not sure if it's a angel food cake, a carrot cake, a fruit cake, or what. It just looked good, and they want to run right on into it and taste it. So marriage is hard. Once you get past the partying and the vacation, and oh, girl, he said this, he said that. It's hard. Okay, Frederick, you want to start us out on that?
Sure. I mean, let's go back to like when I was coming up. I'm older than you guys, and they used to
Mm-hmm.
have shows like Father's Knows Best, I Love Lucy. All of those shows showed a together, cohesive family. You usually had the
Right.
daddy providing and the wife doing all sorts of crazy stuff to drive him nuts.
That's your perspective, but okay.
It's not my perspective. It's what they used to show on TV.
Like on what?
I love
Leave It
Lucy.
to Beaver and
Father
now
Knows
I Love
Best.
Lucy. I can give you that. I
Beaver.
can give you that. Cause Po Lucy, she used to do all kind of
Uh,
stuff. She really did. All right, go ahead.
I mean, we had shows like Family Ties and everything, where you
Right.
have these parents. It was like the parents against the children, because in some of those shows, the children would do this, and the parents had to be this together, cohesive unit.
Yes,
And you didn't see a lot of arguing or anything like that on there. You didn't see, and they never had money problems.
that is
You
true.
really didn't start seeing that. You didn't really see that type of stuff until Roseanne
That's
came
not
out,
true.
where they was always broke.
Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker was
I
never
never really watched
broke.
watched
What you
Archie
mean
Archie
he was
Bunker
Bunker
had
broke.
never broke?
he had a job, and then he opened up a bar. How is that broke?
He struggled still. Now,
Yeah, but he didn't struggle
okay.
like everyday Americans. I
Yeah.
mean, everyday Americans can't go come up with
Told
the
you
money
don't
and
make
start their own business.
me laugh.
Yo, Jarrell just said married with children.
Oh, no, that's funny. That is true too. That y'all gonna make me laugh. Stop.
Yeah,
I
that
told
show
you
I
it
used
was
to
gonna
love.
happen.
You told me that was gonna happen.
Me.
So I told you it was gonna happen. Okay, for our viewers, please try not to make RE laugh so much. Y'all, I'm already a nut, so it's gonna hurt. It hurts her right now. My best friend, was in a fender bender,
Not a fender
and she kind of sore
bender.
right now. Hey,
That
this is
wasn't a
speaking. Hey,
fender.
I know it wasn't a fender bender, man. She was in a, she was in a. I'm just glad she okay for the most part, but she hurting right now. So please, let's try to not make her laugh. I'm already gonna fail at this. I don't need the rest of y'all failing at it either. So yeah, moving forward.
Moving
Jarrell
forward.
says married with children. I can't help but laugh at that, but I do get it though, Frederick. We did kind of have like shows that
Leave it to
showed marriage
Beaver.
in a cohesive unit.
Yeah,
Leave it to Beaver. Yeah,
and
that's one
never
of
having money problems. Yeah, that is true. I'm gonna give you that. That is
yeah.
true.
What
Okay.
else we
We didn't
got?
even see the Cosby
I
struggling.
was just getting ready to say the
We didn't
Cosby
see
Show.
them
The
struggling. Okay, we
worst
got
problem the Cosby's had was the
the
children
kids
did something
Yeah,
this
rebelling.
or
The
that or whatever.
kids rebelling.
They all had
right.
money and everything.
Well, the
So
kids had allowance.
basically, these TV shows show that marriage was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, Chosen, I see a comment up here.
I see a comment
All
too.
right.
Good morning, Shanika. Shanika is new.
Oh,
It's the first time I see Shanika.
hey, good morning, Shanika.
All right. Shanika says they painted a false illusion of marriage, and that's why many people, especially women, look for a false fairy tale marriage,
And
and when it don't live up
that's what
to
we're
their
seeing.
expectations, they
Yes.
want to bounce. And
That's
that's exactly what today is about.
exactly
We
what
was
today is about. Love it.
yes, they did. They definitely did paint
They
that. It
didn't
was
show
yeah,
the real
the
behind
real
the clothes,
struggle.
behind the doors, the real struggle,
Nope.
Like I said, after the party, after the vacation, if they could really afford all of that in the beginning, as it is,
Now, I
you
never
know,
understood that. You're gonna spend that much money on a wedding, and then you're gonna go home
Man,
from little box that
look,
you know.
I
go ahead. No, go ahead, because he's
Private
right.
keep
enough,
He's
going.
right.
You right. You're right. That's it.
and
You know, yeah, spending all the money on the big wedding. You want the fancy dress, your bridesmaids and your flower girls and your ring bearers and all the flowers around the church, and not to mention the honeymoon, because he got to make sure he didn't pick the right place for you to go and be there.
Hmm. Yeah. You just sounded exhausted when you said that. I know why, but
I'm
that
running out of
was
breath.
exhausting. Yeah. But yeah, we talking about that and moving along with that. Now what you say?
Okay, so after all the party, don't forget the reception and the food and how many people you plan on having. After all of that calms down, you're going home to a one-bedroom apartment. You're going
Hmm.
home. That's possible, depending on what side of the spectrum you're actually on. If you
Right.
can afford all of that, because if you can't afford all of that, you might be going home to go still live in the back room with your parents. You
Hmm.
know, so TV gave people a false sense, and mainly women, a false sense of what marriage is, what to look
Yep.
for, what they're getting, picking these men out here, thinking that mama and daddy was able to save all this money for you to have this lavish wedding, you know.
hey, wait a minute. I just
Girls,
thought about something.
yeah.
Married with children. How can a shoe salesman in the mall afford a
Well,
house?
I told you not to make me laugh, and I just saw myself diving over on the doggone desk here, cracking up, because I'm not gonna lie. I've seen people. What's that movie? Players. Is it Players Club? It's Players Club, right?
Pick a scene. What's the scene? I'll probably be able to tell you which one it
The
is,
chick
what movie it
working
is.
in the shoot at the end of the scene.
Oh
She
yeah,
working in the
yep,
shoot.
that's exactly what it
Players.
was. Player Club.
Okay, I doubt she had a lavish house. You
A
know,
house. You go
I
sell
doubt
shoes
she
at
had
the
a house
mall
at
and
all,
see if you can afford a house.
man.
I
Okay,
mean, come on
I need one
now.
of you. We have other comments here. Ro, do you see that?
Yeah, my boy Marcus is here. Good morning, man. Good morning. Glad you're tuning in. And he says, great topic. Glad to hear it being discussed. It's one that really
Mhm.
does need to be discussed because actually there's like two sides to it. Right now, I'm gonna talk about we talking about how it all screwed up, and then later on, I want to go into that people are actually really starting to get
Yes.
it. But right now,
But look how
Jarrell
much
got another
damage
one.
had to take effect before
Yes,
they started
yes,
getting.
exactly. Damage already
Yeah.
been done, but hey, it's all good. Let me see what Jarrell said. Jarrell said, is, I don't believe the struggles were the same because relationships could build better foundations since roles were perceived as important. The husbands, the husband was respected as a leader, but nowadays women are competing with the
Yeah,
man to lead.
Okay.
yeah,
Hold
that's what I
on.
was
I
talking
don't
about
want to.
earlier.
Hold on, Frederick, because I know how you feel about feminism. Yeah. So I don't because it's not that I don't believe that women are truly trying to compete with men. I believe the system has screwed it up so bad that men have difficulty getting out there to lead, that a woman has to step in. So I don't honestly believe that women are trying to compete with men. I believe that is where the situation has been set up. But we can
I'll say
address that
this
another
too.
time.
Yeah, yeah, I say that I agree and I disagree. And the only reason why I say I disagree is because while you do have the way that that move was probably not seen. So while it might be set up for that way, you do have those that actually do sit up and try to compete with that. Look at everything that's going on. But we will save that
Let's
for
say
another
that
show. And
for
because I know what you're getting at, but yeah, we'll say that for another show. But as far as what Jarrell said,
Mhm.
yeah, it goes hand in hand with what you said because the way it's set up, because it was a book I read, and that book basically said that it basically said that talking about you won't be able to be homemakers and everything because everybody gonna be working and with that was the ripple effect that caused that whole independent thing and that what's the Destiny's Child song the
soldiers
the
are
now the all my
Mississippi.
women
What is it?
independent
Oh,
like that right there. So because the way it was set up, it did that, and it was like a move like the Phantom Menace type thing. This is what it's planned to do, but the after effect is going to show, hey, they don't need this, and now you're in competition when you're gonna look at it as you're in competition as instead of the cohesive unit. But we'll get to that.
we'll get to that
But
on
we want to stick with,
another show.
yeah, we want to
I
stick
see
with
other
how else
comments
it,
here.
yeah. Okay, so Shanika says a lot of women have misconception about what it means to submit, so they reject it and try to overrule the man. Leroy got something too. Well, good morning, Leroy.
Morning, Laura.
A misconception about what it means to submit, so they reject it and try
Okay,
to overrule the man.
so
Hmm.
Shanika, I get what you're saying, that women are do find it difficulty to submit, and that's because that again plays into other things that society has put out there. But we can do that another show. I think Frederick gonna want to run that show as well because I know that perspective and everything. The way he'll break it down, it will come from a spiritual understanding of a woman's role in a marriage. But right now, we're going to
Hmm.
focus on how screwed up
So here we
the
go again
world itself, whether it be
with
music,
this.
movies, TV. Which part? Which
What happened?
part? Okay, so the world has screwed up the view of marriage as far as the movies, the TV, the music. I would even go so far as to say some of the upbringing. You need to find someone that's going to be able to keep a roof over your head. Someone that's going to be able to where you don't have to work. Now there was a time where they didn't even want women to working out of the household. That was a long time ago where a woman could, if she worked, it was a secretary's job. So you have to think about how times have changed. I'm seeing uh, comments come up. Can you tell me
Hmm.
if there's anything we
Well,
need to address?
Jarrell said that's why marriage is not as sought after, or they don't
That's
last long. You know,
what we're saying.
yeah. So
Hmm.
That, I mean, you know, it's because but I mean, what the world basically like what society basically did was just put it basically put us. Okay, hold on. Let me see how I can
against one
uh
another.
the that
But
too,
just
but that it yeah like, that too, but it's so
Reversed.
it was so imperative that it bring yeah, but it's so imperative that it was like okay the American dream, right? All you had to do was come here to work. Like come if you wanted it, you could work. If you anything you want, you can do. It was set out for that. And once they got out and saw the injustice, not the injustices, but where you know women didn't have the right to vote, women didn't have this and this and this and that, and then the unfairness came. It was like you're supposed to just take this and just be glad with
mhm.
it. There, just be glad you got this and be able to do this. And at one point in time, it was like, okay, this is not enough. Okay, if she keeps your house clean, if I can keep the house clean and do all this, I ought to be able to do this. If I'm able to do this, I ought to be able to do so. You start seeing your worth, where at first that worth was just like, just stay here, stay in your place. And then that the whole suffrage thing. And at one point in time, they were like, okay, we should be. That's where the whole equal thing came to be. I ain't gonna say a
It's
problem, but the
not a
thing that was the
problem
problem was
when the
it should have been.
it's
Yeah,
not a
it's like
problem
it shouldn't have been
when the
suppressed
two know how
where a
to
woman's
work
supposed to have it to
together.
it. Yeah,
Like I said,
so
knowing
it was like it was
each
that.
other's weaknesses, each other's strengths, respecting each other and what they're trying to accomplish, being able to work out problems together. The world made it seem as though you get into this, you have kids, you buy a house, you get a car, and everything is just glorious, you
Hmm.
know, and that's
But
not how it
yeah,
is. They
hmm.
don't
And
talk
so they
about
painted this picture,
those, yeah, they don't
right? So
talk about
they
those problems
yeah, so they
behind the
painted this
clothes.
picture that okay, it's all good. All you have to do is this, and all you have to do is, and as you can tell, a lot of this stuff don't, a lot of that don't work. Um, a lot of that doesn't work. I don't know if y'all seen it, but I just told Ari about it. If y'all remember, about a year ago, that I forget the guy's name, but he did this video talking about how his wife don't have to work, how his kids ain't got to do nothing. If anything happens, uh, I got it and all this. And then recently he was on Ilyana, and Ilyana Van Zant was talking about how now his house is in disarray. And the thing about it is a lot of people such as myself saw that video, and the first thing that I said was, okay, well, if he doing all that, then there's something that's not getting done. You're not there. You don't. Your time is not being is not being given. You giving them what they need to survive. You being a provider, but you not there. You know what I'm saying? So like Bobby Womack said it best. He said, he said she always want me there, but when I'm there, I'm broke, and I can't be in two places at
Mm-hmm.
one time. That was one of those things that that was like the same example about what this guy went through. So he's trying to figure out. He's saying he's king of the castle, and you king of the castle because you saying you king of the castle because you're doing all the providing, but you're not showing no vulnerability. You're not showing the capacity to lead. You going head you going head to head with your youngest son. Being strict, and now your youngest son can't. Your son doesn't really respect you just
Yeah,
because you bring in all this stuff
never,
in.
never
Yeah, and
in
you're
the home.
not
So
there. You're never in the
there's no
home.
structure.
Right. So it's cool if I could sit up here and provide it, but what happens when you ain't there? What if this lady got tired of sitting around and having everything and she choose to do something different because certain needs ain't met? Then you really
Okay.
got chaos. You know what I'm saying?
So
So
what you're saying is focusing on providing and not being there is
it's an
again as I
imbalance.
it's
It's
exactly
it's a
okay. So
it's an imbalance.
Frederick, how about we take this here and this is where you tell us what that covenant of marriage, how to get that balance in that covenant of marriage. Can you give us those uh details, that perception? I see that we got comments before you start, Frederick. I see we got comments.
Hmm.
Chosen, can
Yeah.
you?
Okay, so Shanika says, "Yep, time is more valuable and worth more than materialistic things. Something I had to learn." Yep, and then Jarrell came back and said, the world media is now showing us over sexualized relationships. Back in the day, we didn't even think about how James Evans was sleeping with
Right?
Florida. We so didn't.
We really didn't.
He said it must be extra. It must have been extra dark at night back then.
Wow. I
Leroy
said,
says.
go
Leroy
ahead.
says we must also consider the drug epidemic that played a role in destroying the black households. Well, the American household, the war on drugs was not just an attack on men and women, which brought depression in a marriage, but also on the children that witnessed it. But it all came back to bite the average white, black, Hispanic, and other Americans in the tail. How pain meds lead in slot of households. Let me say something real quick. Thank you, Leroy, because this is what I was trying to get. This is what I was trying to get at, because the way everything was intended, like, like just take the simple fact when he talked about the drug, when he talked about the drug epidemic.
Mhm.
Okay, part of that agenda was, if part of that agenda was, you need a certain amount of crime,
Okay.
right? So we can either a certain amount of crime, because even back then, that's when the private prisons and stuff was being introduced. So it was a money thing. So that was the trickle effect, like Leroy said, about the black household and families. And what did the drug epidemic target? What race did the drug epidemic target? It targeted black people.
Mhm.
So now you start seeing. So part of that happened. Like now, you go into a Walmart, you don't see full families in the grocery store no more. You don't hear any importance on the family, let alone the black family. Anytime you hear, most of the time you hear about a black man or black woman and the kids is baby daddy or her baby daddy
Mhm.
or this, and you never really see a lot of black families have these family portraits all together like
So
that. That
if we
right there
took
was
this,
like the ripple effect.
if we took
Hmm?
this, we'd say Spike Lee was trying to warn us about this back when, what's the name of that movie? Darn it, with Wesley. Oh Lord, I can't even think the name of the movie.
Do the
No, not do
what's the scene?
the right
No,
thing.
no, no. Say what's the scene?
It
What's
was
the scene
about
that
the one where his brother was a addict,
you talking about?
and
Jungle Fever?
there it is, right
No,
there.
Yeah.
So
that was
I would say,
something Hill, because his brother killed his dad at the end.
No, no,
I don't think that was
no,
Spike Lee.
no. That
he
wasn't
said
Spike Lee. He talking about it
it's
was
Spike
Jungle
Lee.
Fever because Gator was the
Gator
drug addict.
was the drug addict.
Yeah, Gator
And I
was
would
on
say
Jungle
that
Fever.
movie was trying to highlight what was going on at that time. And see, remember when we talked about the underlying messages in our entertainment? A lot of
Right.
us didn't pay attention to what that message was and only saw it for the entertainment that was on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no, go ahead, commence. Go back to what you were saying.
All right.
I'm sorry, I just
So
wanted to make
no, you
sure.
good. No, but that's cool. No, but what I'm saying is like that was the trickle effect. The agenda for them was to either promote the private prisons and just do the negative side to people. That was the agenda. So, but the trickle effect was where we are now and how the and
Fathers.
how black families and the marriages and how marriage is now. You know what I'm saying? So it hurt everybody. And if you don't have the job opportunities and maybe you were streetwise and you got into that trying to make it for your family because push came to shove, then you had a lot of that too. So it was like really what I say is like if you able to actually function and have you a successful, you actually did really, really good. You averted and sidestepped a few traps. But the world definitely, for
Set
what
us
we're
up for
talking about, the world
failure.
definitely tarnished and set us up for failure when it comes to marriage. So it's like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna show, we're gonna give you, we're gonna give you the icing. And
Mm-hmm.
and if you get down to the cake, to eat the cake, then that's good on you too. But the icing was so good, and the icing was your Leave It to Beaver. The icing was your Cosby Show and all the stuff that put up in there. But we're not. But down in the ice, but down in the cake means Cliff Huxtable. How many times you like if we really
I
want
can't
to
remember
like make like a
the
real
lights
assessment
getting
on the
turned
Cosby
off,
Show.
water getting
Check
turned off,
right.
anything
Check
like
this
that.
out. Check. Yeah. So check this out. So we didn't see Cliff Huxtable call Claire and say, "Hey, I got a breech pregnancy. I gotta stay here up at the hospital to deliver this baby. I know we supposed to have date night, but we ain't gonna be able to do it." You know, they don't show you all that, but I'm pretty sure whenever you are an OBGYN or whenever you are successful or whatever, you have that you have those instances where you either gonna let this person down or y'all gonna have a miscommunication. But the problem with a lot of our people is, well, I ain't gonna say just our people, but the problem with a lot of people is some don't deal with the letdown or the understanding of why things happen. So if you sit up and you call, and maybe you're supposed to have date night and something like that happened and you let them know that I ain't gonna be able to make it, some people get upset and they chuck it up to that strike one. And that's strike, oh, this is strike two. But people don't see the unseen hand at things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really understand, like, everything happens for a reason. Can you just take this time to understand? We don't have
Being in the
what the world
trenches
did,
with
what the
someone,
world did
don't
was,
just
yeah,
run
being in the
out.
trenches with somebody. And right. So it's like when you get tired, it's like you have to, you know what I'm saying? You can't just get tired and give up. You know what I'm saying? I seen a quote one day where it said, people leave, people get tired and leave, but they don't know that I'm tired too, but I choose to stay. And, a lot of people take those vows like they do a cell phone contract or whatever. You go get the new iPhone and you go get the new iPhone and they're like, okay, everything is fine. So you got this big old page, five page thing contract, and you ain't looking for nothing but the doggone X and the dotted line because now I got the phone, I'm gonna pay the bill. So that's that's all I need to be concerned about. But you missed the clause that says that if you get if you don't do such and such in a few days, then your insurance on the phone will be null and void. Or if you don't do this, you miss these clauses. So when you put your name on that dotted line, you liable to all that other stuff. So something happened to the phone and you try to go back and get something else with the phone, and then they pull up this clause in this contract. Hey, you can't do this. Now you got to have these repercussions. It's the same thing with this marriage. People here, you've been hearing the vows all your life. And
People don't
you
listen to
get there,
those
you're like, oh,
vows.
okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
Man,
That's what I'm saying. And
okay, look at those vows like
all they
going
waiting to do,
look at
right?
those vows
All they waiting to do is the kiss
like
at the
going
end.
into
You may
the
kiss the bride.
military. Yeah, look at those vows
Exactly.
like going into the military. The person that's standing next to you, would you want to fight with them in war?
That's
Period.
right.
If you can't see yourself going into battle with this person, when it time comes, you should not be marrying them. If you don't think this person gonna be there to watch your back, to help pull you out when you're down and out, and you could do the same for them, you should not be getting married.
Sound like trigger.
God no.
But I mean, that's a common trigger though. But Frederick, what you got? What you say, Frederick?
Well, I was actually in the military, and the last thing I think is that Sandra can pull my butt out of a trench.
Man, don't make me
I'm
laugh.
sorry.
I told you don't make me laugh.
So,
I told you don't make me laugh.
You got certain aspects now. If we're talking about going to war, then the wife would be support. She's in the rear, out of harm's way, so that I can fight with the ferocity that I need.
You understand what's being said. If the person that you are marrying, you cannot rely on to be there to support you, pull you out, step up when necessary, you should not be getting married.
This is true. But that boils down to
because you didn't have the proper training. That's all it is. You just saw what was fabricated and you saw what you liked about it, and you just went ahead. Like I'm saying, like you may now kiss the bride is the X with the dotted line, the X with the line to sign your name. You missed like almost everything that was said by that minister or everything that it was just you already knew. You said, I'm gonna go in doing this. This is what I want, and okay, yada yada yada. Kiss, we married. So when that happened, just like people omit the fact that, okay, now I'm here, we did this, we did that, this ain't working, now I don't want it no more. Like that's a breach of contract. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't want it no more. Oh shoot, when I had you, you know, you done gained like 50 pounds now, and you don't do this, and you
See,
don't do that, and this, and all that. So it's
yeah,
like
y'all right.
now I
This
want
is a
out, and that ain't the
trigger
reason
for
why you're
me.
supposed to do
Y'all
that.
right. Because this is a trigger for me because I sure want to go out. Oh, I sure want to go out. We got a couple more comments.
Yeah, I got you. Hold on one second. Let me let me get this right quick and put this up here, and I'm finna read this comment real quick. We got
You got
Marcus, my boy. He said there is a great,
Jarrell,
yeah.
Marcus.
He
Okay.
says Jarrell says I feel media visually fell away from showing good relationships because drama was so much better. Was some I'm gonna say something about that. Was a much better market. Then social media created access to 1,000 times more temptation for the new weakened relationship. All right, I'm gonna harp on this comment real quick. I
Mm-hmm.
seen this one thing on social media how this lady said toxic. She loves toxic relationships. And the reason why she says she loves touch, she said she would rather have a toxic man versus a man that a good man because the good man gets boring.
That sounds like a
And
15-minute of fame. Let's move on.
exactly.
This
No,
she
it ain't either.
So look at this. So look
is
at
not.
this. So check it out. You got so check it out. You got the housewife shows, the
Mm-hmm,
love and hip hop shows,
mm-hmm.
and you sit up here and you see all these women. And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. You sit up here, you see what did you see most of the time in all them
Toxic
shows? These women be loud
relationships.
talking these dudes, they be loud talking these guys, and they be putting up with all this stuff, and they be in these
I
clubs,
said
and it's a
15
hmm?
minutes of fame. 15 minutes
Yeah,
of fame. Any drama I can get in, any toxicity that I can get a hold of that's going to put me in the freaking media, I'm going to run with it because I want to be seen.
yeah.
Drama.
Well,
Let's
the
move
average
on to
person
the
is
next
not
It's
going to
topic.
drama.
get in the media. The average person is
What you
not
say?
going to get in the media. So what's your excuse with that one?
The average person that's not going to get in the media.
Yeah, the
Is
average
that what you're saying?
person back.
The average person is not looking to be seen, not looking to for people. Oh, wait, how do I want to put this? Not looking for someone to boost them up. You telling me if that was the case, Facebook wouldn't be as big as it freaking is?
True,
Okay,
but you got a lot of
let me
Americans that don't even go
yeah,
online.
let me say okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop! I'm not entertained. Let's go to the
Hold
next
up.
comment.
Okay, hold up. Let me say this. Okay, so a lot along with that, um, the thing about it is people want that after effect. They like, and the reason why she said that crap, I mean, the reason why she said that in her view is people like to make up. People like to make up. But the thing about it is, you don't want to have to force the whole makeup. It's only so many times that you're gonna be able to tell somebody sorry. Eventually, they're gonna get tired of that. You want the flow, and you got to have the balance. So with that, it's like, okay, you're not really saying the only reason why you saying you like a toxic relationship is because after you get done with the disagreement, you can make up. But you have to let that stuff flow naturally, not look for it. Don't go fishing for it. So Marcus says this. Marcus says
Mhm.
there is great disconnect because of media with couples understanding their role in marriage as a partnership. All parts of the machine is important. A car can't drive without without wheels and won't drive without an engine. It is just an empty shell, which that is what these marriages have become. Know your
Mhm.
role and give
Mhm.
support where needed. So uh, so this right here, actually, I was looking on the time to see about the 30. I was looking on the time to see about the 30 minutes because I want to go into the positive
Okay.
aspect of it. People are actually starting to get it, and thank you, Marcus, for bringing that part in there. People are actually starting to get it because back then we were looking for. When I was, when we was in high school or whatever, we was like, okay, she wanted her father was saying, get somebody like me that's gonna protect you and he was gonna be able to provide for the house and let her be a homemaker and y'all work together and you do the whole 50-50 thing and which was cool. But now people are really starting to see that, okay, let me get somebody I can build with. So whenever you have somebody you can build with, that's when we can get into the talk of starting to talk about we building a kingdom. I'm king here, you queen. So my role is, I don't really like to say roles, but what I'm built for. To say what I'm built for is I can go out here and I can provide, prepare, and protect. And when I come back to the crib and come back to you, I got somewhere where I can recharge. We can recharge each other, and you can give me counsel. I can give you counsel on the things of how we can keep on making what we have better. People are starting to get it. You're starting to see more people say, okay, we going. I've seen couples going to businesses together, start businesses together to start generating wealth. And it's funny because that's what that's what they were doing before. We didn't really
Yeah,
have that to be able to do that. Now
before
we're starting to
and
see and getting a little bit more leeway to be able to do that. So now you can. So now I'm glad to start seeing black couples come together and actually start LLCs and start generating family wealth.
okay.
Because back then, that's we didn't have it. I ain't got to sit up and go with the demographic and talk about what race had it, but we all know what that is. But now it's starting to see, it's like, okay, cool. Even though the damage has already been done, at least people are starting to see it. Shanika says, some people like that though. It's what they used to. Just like some women to get beat on, sad but true. Yeah, she went back to the
The
drama.
toxic
And Jarrell also said that,
relationship.
yeah, with that, and he's acting like hoes. Yeah, I'm just gonna touch on this, and then we're gonna get back to the positive part. So when you start seeing like all these shows like Housewives, Love and Hip Hop, and all this, and what you're actually seeing and witnessing is people not being able to talk to each other. And then when they
Hold
sit up there and get all this unnecessary drama and stuff, and then they want to try to calm it down and say they want to try to calm it down and show a reconciliation period or reconciliation scene on some stuff that was just really stupid to begin
hold
with.
on,
Oh well,
Frederick.
you go ahead.
Frederick.
Yes.
The people chasing drama and toxic. Told you not to make me laugh. The people chasing the drama and the toxic relationships. Would that fall under the category of narcissistic people,
Uh,
or what? Help me out here.
well, it's like you saying with the female that was saying that she was bored. Women have a propensity to choose the guy that's going to be fun. Whereas you have all that stuff on TV, the whirlwind relationships, bad boys provide the way for a woman to have that fantasy, live their
Adrenaline.
fantasies,
Adrenaline.
adrenaline, to be excited, to
Yeah.
have it brand new, because you never know what they're going to do. And even though he does stuff she hates, he makes it fun because he keeps her guessing. He keeps her on her toes. She got to go watch out to make sure he ain't over there with Wanda. So
They
She
don't have,
got
wants
something.
she want a story to tell. Like most people want a story to
that's
tell.
what I said
But
was
that's what
meaning when I
TV
said
did.
15 minutes, and
Yeah.
that and Facebook, that's why Facebook's blown up, because people want to be able to put that out there and get that attention that they're looking for. That's not what marriage is. Sorry.
Nope.
If you knew that, you should have went into drama in school and went into acting. Different roles.
Right? Yep.
Okay, we have some other comments
Yep.
here.
So Jarrell said, people are binding through pain. Create a problem, then get past the problem. Now they feel like they mad. Now they feel like they mad. They made it past the milestone because they worked past some trauma. That's an ongoing thing. Like, okay, like you can't. Okay, so I gotta go to scripture.
Yes, please.
All right, scripture says, scripture says like with a marriage, like the only way out of a marriage, really the only viable way that it says that out of a marriage was through infidelity. Okay, so let's take that out of there. Let's just say it ain't.
And
Okay, let's say you ain't taking
the only
enough.
one left is death.
Yeah, and the only one left is death. Okay,
That's right.
so
let's get that
you can't.
understood.
So you ain't supposed to leave somebody because y'all ain't going to Costa Rica every year. You missed two trips to Costa Rica.
Don't make me.
That ain't grounds for leaving. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That ain't grounds for it. It's not grounds because you get tired and you have a lot of arguments and this and that. It's okay. I got
You
this
can't
space.
divorce him because he don't wash clothes, and you the only one washing clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't divorce him because he went and bought him a new ride out there, and you the one you want you don't like anymore, you want a new one.
Yeah.
You can't divorce him because he don't work the type of job you want him to work. Y'all don't have the kind of money. Say you can't divorce them because they don't get along with your dang on parents. You knew that before you got married.
Yeah. So it's like it's like, you know, when people say they get, you know, when people say they get tired, it's like, okay, they go to bed, go lay your behind down. Like, the thing about it, and then the thing is too, it's like with the communication thing, I got to go back to the whole housewife thing, and the love and hip hop, where you learn how not to communicate. So the thing is that, to me, my key is this: don't go to bed mad. If I ask you what's wrong, if something wrong, don't say nothing when there is something wrong. Uh, there's another thing too about the truth. Whenever you together and you in this, it says for rich, for poor, for better, for worse, and all that. You're supposed to confide in them and tell them the truth, even if it's gonna hurt, because that's what you pretty much signed up for. You know what I'm saying? This is supposed to be your safe haven. This person is supposed to be the one you talk to, and y'all gonna build with each other. So you might as well tell each other what's going on.
Girl,
if you
not your homeboys, not your parents, your person.
Well, I mean, you got them too. Yeah, you got them too, but that's supposed to be your go-to. The person you with that you build with is supposed to be your go-to. So we learned a lot of things wrong. It's just some people get this like well, when you get into a marriage, man, that whole I don't want to hurt your feelings stuff goes out the window, because you gonna have to tell me some stuff up front, because I don't want to wait down the line and find out that you didn't really like this. And now that I find out you say you really didn't like this, well, you had all this time to tell me you didn't like it. You had all this time to tell me this wasn't making you happy. You had all this time to tell me, and I didn't change and do this before, but you still said I do. And now you want to tell me, you know, or it's like, or now you want to tell them that this ain't it or whatever. You know, this it's the whole thing. You looking at the icing and you tasting the icing, but when you get down to the cake, you don't like the flavor. Yeah, you like vanilla icing, but you find out the cake is chocolate, and now you don't want it no more. Now you didn't already lick the icing, finish the cake, and be happy and merry. Okay, so we have Leroy. Good morning, Leroy. You've been always, you know, rocking with us and everything. So Leroy says we are the generation to help curb the mishaps that has been birthed into our culture. Since we are the generation that lived through, witnessed, and suffered through these turmoils, we should also be the generation troubleshoot the issue by doing what we are doing today, addressing the issue with reasonable solutions. Then I totally agree with that, and that's what we talk about. Yeah, that's what the second half is now. Starting to see exactly what is needed to fix what society broke. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, like Jarrell said, by over sexualizing these relationships. You go on Facebook. You go on Facebook and I see so many posts talking about
sex.
The grown and sex and stuff. I'm gonna leave it at that. Then we talk about all that.
Marriage is not all about sex. I guarantee you, when you get married, you're gonna be too busy working, going to school, taking care of the house and everything. You're lucky to even get in that bedroom and lay it down one good time that week. So marriage is not all about sex. Get that. That's another thing that they got screwed up in their heads right now.
Trigger. Somebody triggered today. But the thing about it is you get in here, yeah, we want all this type of stuff, but you have to let it flow naturally. And by it being by all of that flowing naturally, that's what's gonna make you can't force it. Like, you can't force these things. And if you're gonna get into something, man, you gotta know what you're getting into before know what you're getting into, because you can damage a lot of things, man. You know what I'm saying? That can damage families. It can damage relationships with other people and stuff like that. So, and then Leroy also said we have learned how to love, build. We have learned how to love, build, and structure. Yes, we did. Shanika says, yes, be angry and sin not. Let not
she's
the sun go down upon your wrath.
That's right. Don't go to sleep upset. Talk that crap out.
Right. Yeah, talk it out. You know what I'm saying? And Leroy says we have to learn how to build a structure based on the first foundation, which should be love. Jarrell says, what disappoints you about your counterparts? How does the hurt dictate the way you perceive future relationships? Man, okay. I have a friend, and she she was, I have a friend, and she was married for, for over a decade, and all the stuff that she seen from her husband that they had went through, after it was all said and done, you kind of live with you kind of left with, well, why even, why do all of this? You know how some people are like, traditional marriage is like, they look at it now as like a waste of time. Like, why am I gonna go through all of this? Why am I gonna go through all of this just for this to end up, the way this is? If I want to be, I can be I can be happy with somebody, and we can have an understanding on what we want and not have to take these extra steps. So if it ends, it can just be a clean break. So you start seeing stuff for what it is after you've gone through all this pain. But it goes back to them vows. Them vows say, for richer, for poor, for sickness and in health. It's not just talking about, that's not just
Better
talking
or
about no
worse.
physical stuff. Better for worse. That's not just talking about in a physical sense. It's talking about all of that. Like if you go in and if you going in and you mess around and something goes wrong at your job and you can't do some of the things that we supposed to stick
I
it
was
out.
just about to bring that up. If a person got injured at work and ended up paralyzed, you don't leave them because what did they say? Oh, it's too hard. This is not
Oh,
what
it's
I
too hard. I
signed up
can't. This
for.
ain't what I signed. I just don't want this
Exactly.
anymore, and all this, and it's
It
like,
said better or worse.
yeah, for better, for worse,
6%
and
health.
yeah. When you see couples that have been together like 35, 50 years, our old couples, you have to know, man. All of those couples haven't had it squeaky clean. It's been a
Right.
lot of things. It's just that even when they got tired, they chose
They
to stay.
fought.
You know what I'm saying? So
They
and
knew
they
they were in
fought.
the trenches.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
those trenches
Oh,
get
she's
deep.
replying. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, them trenches, get deep. Nah, she was replying to Shanika was replying to Leroy's comments, and I'm just looking at it, I agree. What I do, it's in a nutshell,
Hmm.
what really in a nutshell, it was always these false misconceptions on certain things. It's like advertisement. We all been kids before. We all learned how to play before we learned how to work.
Yeah.
You seen a toy on on a commercial, and you wanted that toy for Christmas. And when you finally got that toy and you open it up on Christmas Day, you played with it, and it probably wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And now it's like you
And
gonna
that
play with the
bad boy
toy,
sit up
and
on the
that bad
shelf
boy
or in
sit
the
up on
bottom
the
of the
shelf,
toy
and it
box.
was like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's the same way with a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit up. That's how most people start treating these things.
Because
The
that's
woman
one of the
might see
first
this,
things they say. That's one of the
right?
first things they say. This is not what I thought it was going to be.
This ain't what I thought it was gonna
Yep.
be, and I got it in this. So you can take that. So people have seen all these advertisements on what marriage is supposed to be. They show you the glitz and they show you the glamour and they show you
Mhm.
all of that other stuff, and they don't harp on,
They
man. It's
don't tell
been many nights where
how
there's
they
been
got.
nights where, yeah, like it's been many nights where we didn't uh argue downright fights, and there was a couple of f bombs, fu bombs. It was a couple of I hate you, but at the end of the day, it was after everything calmed down and the smoke cleared. Um, after I done slept on a couch and she done slept in the bed. Um, we still came back full circle. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they deal with it that way, and some people also deal with it the right way, which is, when we come to you, if we having a disagreement, we're not gonna quit until we're not gonna move on until we move on. And what I mean by that is, like, we're not going to move on until we move on. That means I'm finna find out if you okay, and you should have the same energy to me to find out if I'm okay after this,
Hmm.
because people make mistakes, and people, like, one thing, I see in a lot of our relationships, a lot of people be like, you make mistakes and you aren't always aware of something that you did or something that you said that might trigger something in somebody. Then your woman, because I only deal with women. I've only this is like some of my experience. you know I might get to talking, I might say something, and I might have a slip of the tongue and say something that might make you mad, that might make her mad or whatever. And then all of a sudden I get this attitude. And then when I get the attitude, I'm like, okay, where's this attitude coming from? What's the matter? And then you sit and see nothing. Um, now, and then the one thing I hate is you should know. Like, what you mean I should know? If I don't know, then if I knew, I wouldn't ask you.
Now, see,
And so it's like if I knew, I wouldn't ask you.
Solely on communication, because women have that bad. I tell you, we have that bad. You know.
But the only reason why I'm touching on this is because this is where this goes. If we sit up and say, well, no, how you can pass those periods of, you know, the we ain't talking, the silent treatment and stuff, you know, once you get past that, you know, if we can just go ahead and talk it out and get all this stuff done, and that's where I'm talking, that's what I mean when I'm saying once we're okay, then we can move on, because you're not supposed to leave people going to sleep with the certain stuff on their mind. If we can address it right then and there and get to the solution, that saves energy, and we won't have to sit up and worry about this no more. Don't come back and tell me 2 days later about what it is that I did when I don't know what it is.
With unintentional and intentional deception. Okay.
You know how we do. We always kind of recap.
This goes back to unintentional and intentional deception. It also goes back to the art of forgiveness. You know, it's all of this ties into how to maintain a healthy relationship and build a healthy life for yourself and those that your immediate circle, your family, how to elevate to the next level. So we're going to do a show all about communication and how to do that the right way. So we have a little over, a little under 15 minutes. Let's go ahead. A little under 15. Let's go ahead and do some bullet points. And if we have any more comments, get these comments in so we can.
Let me get Marcus's comment real quick. Okay. He says, if you take finances and debt out of a relationship or marriage, then what is its purpose?
Finances.
Frederick, you want to hit that real quick?
Go ahead, Frederick.
If you take finances and debt out of a relationship or marriage, then what is its purpose?
The purpose of marriage is to propagate children. Bang. According to the Bible.
I just told somebody this. According to the Bible, that is the purpose of marriage.
Now, the whole point with the debt and all of that other stuff, now, if you work it right and you work together as a team and there's no hiding this and hiding that, you can conquer anything. Debt, money, anything. But if you're going to sit there and you get married just because you want a trophy wife or whatever, and like you said, you get sick of it after a while, you set it on the shelf. The purpose of marriage is to propagate, to make children, to raise them up to be better versions of yourself. And you can only do that when you know that that child is yours. The woman is faithful, the man is faithful. There's no outside influence. It is to have a cohesive family.
Go right ahead. No, I can sit back and calm down now, because this is what marriage is supposed to be, and people don't see it that way. They looking for either the woman looking for a tree she can climb, or the man looking for a Jessica Rabbit he can grab onto. You know, so they have the screwed up views on what marriage is supposed to be, because Jessica Rabbit gonna end up looking like Attila the Hun. And this doggone tree gonna look like Lurch at the end. So I can't for the life of me understand why people are so focused on physical and financial standards before they decide to get married. Get over it. That's not what the fuck it is. I'm sorry.
Oh, you get it.
I thought you were gonna get
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do these bullet points.
All right.
Get it out.
So yeah, get out. I mean, it's good that that's good that it's like, you know, a touchy thing for most women, because it's funny because we always sit up and say marriage is, we like, oh man, marriage is mostly catered towards the women. That's a woman's day. I mean, a wedding, that's her day. It's for her and all that. It's for the woman. So it's cool that it kind of made you tap into your trigger because if you really think about it, So Shamika said, yeah, she's agreeing with Frederick. Of course, he says to reflect the glory
Mhm.
of God, being fruitful and multiplying.
And that's what
So
marriage is supposed to be.
yeah, and that's what marriage is supposed to be. It's like, okay, so to wrap it up, the bullet point, it's supposed to be a
Mhm.
cohesive unit. It's supposed to be, and what I want to add to what Frederick said, to propagate children. Okay,
Mhm.
let me see something. Let me see if I can wrap this up in a few minutes. All right. In in my perception, when you are a child, a mother and father is God in the eyes of a
That's
child
right.
until they learn that, until they ask a question. Where did such and such come from? And your mother and your father can only trail that back
Mhm.
so far before they introduce you to a God, before they
That's right.
introduce you to God. So it's like that day that they introduce you to God as a child, that is the same day your God
Mhm.
dies. And what I mean by that is, your before they tell you who God is, your mother and your father is God.
They
And when
the
they
bigger
ask you
the
all this,
bigger thing
and
in
they
their eyes.
yes,
So
yes,
they learn that there's something
they
bigger
learn it's
than
something bigger
than
than them.
parents.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's the blueprint that they are learning from the age, from when they are out of the womb until they get to that age where they start asking that conscious question. So what it is then after that is you turn them over onto the onto knowing that one day they're gonna leave the crib. They're gonna start seeing it now in this world. It's out there. They have no time. Children have no time now because everything that they see now is what this world eventually gets to. So to propagate your children, you're supposed to train the child up in the way that he or she should go, and whenever they get
Mhm.
older, they'll never depart from it. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
So it was like you're not supposed to have it to where, okay, I'm like Frederick said, the trophy wife thing. Okay, man, I got did you saw Jessica Rabbit, and you want to do look like the Rock,
Mhm.
and this and this and that, but that's not what we're here for. That's cool. That was like that's like another, again, that's the icing. Again,
Mhm.
it's the outer layer. We got to get to this cake that ain't really got that much flavor, the one that's holding the icing up. You can't have no mother freaking cake if you can't have no icing if you ain't got the cake. So
Right.
you want it, so you want to have it to where it's like, now I got to teach my child good habits and show them what it is to have what to show them what it is to have what they haven't had. You're not gonna have no steady household foundation if you see me talking to your mama a certain type of way. If
Right.
I'm beating on your mama or if I'm cheating on your mama, what do you think they're gonna do? One or two things. They're gonna learn that, okay, maybe that's how I keep it under control, or they're gonna be
Mhm.
like, I'm never treating my woman this way. They're gonna do one,
Okay, so we
one or
got a
two
few more
things.
comments here, and we're gonna have to wrap it up. We got about 5 minutes to wrap
Yep.
it up. So let's
All
hit
right.
these comments.
Leroy says, all right, Leroy says the purpose of marriage is to learn how to love each other as God has loved us. True.
Hmm.
It's a learning process and an experience. And then of course, he says, great way to wrap it up. I appreciate that. And then Jarrell says, our women don't want to admit they
He
I'm
gonna make me
sorry.
laugh.
Our women
Wait.
don't want to admit they are all that our women don't want to admit that they are all Jessica Rabbits, but they get married and act like they evolved past it. But your man was attracted to the Jessica Rabbit in you. Stop losing interest by acting to evolve to be that rabbit for him. I mean, when you start something, that's how you're supposed to keep it going. Simple and plain.
Come in, go out the same way you came in. I get it. I get it. And that's true. And
Consistency.
that's on
I get
both,
it.
that's consistency, and that's on both sides. But god damn it, she can't twirl on that pole every dang on night because you asked her
Right.
to. So
Okay.
you gotta be considerate in that crap. Think about
Right.
it. Y'all
Okay.
work together.
Yeah, it's. I mean, but then again, this is in conclusion. This is how the world screwed up the view of marriage.
There it is.
It's not supposed to be. Oh, I see this and I want that. Why do you want it? That's what you're supposed to be asking yourself. Why do you want this? What is your end game? See, the problem is, and I'm gonna wrap this
Yeah,
up because we got
you,
4 minutes.
we got 4 minutes.
We got like four
Mm-hmm.
minutes, and the problem is no one. Okay, the problem is we think we the big mistake we make is we think we have time. Like,
Yeah.
if you imagine if you actually went after that woman, or you got with that woman that was in for the same thing, that was in it for the same thing you was in it, and both of y'all both of y'all were working towards the same thing, then you would have that much more many years together to
Mm-hmm.
keep that unit and to better that unit. But most people sit up and they look at it once they get into it and get tired and be like, man, I'm such and such years old and I've been with this person for this long, and it's like, dang, man, is it time to do something new? I only
So
got one
right here,
life. You know what I'm saying? It's
right here, what you're saying is
mm,
expectations. Expectations,
mm-hmm,
unrealistic expectations when walking into marriage. That
mm-hmm.
is the
And you know,
problem right there.
bang.
Yeah.
That is the
So
problem. And we're going to touch
yeah.
on that on another show. Thank you for joining Coffee and Convo.
Yep.
Enjoy your Sunday. You got something out of this. If you have any more comments, questions, or let's just say topic ideas, feel free to drop them down here in our comment section or email me at readyforpeace@live.com. Enjoy your Sunday.
All right.
Enjoy your Sunday.